everyone, Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and today I would like to show you how to make this Swingfold card. Now this was a prototype, so it hasn't turned out well because I did this afterwards, and of course because of the dimension it didn't emboss correctly, but I absolutely love this card. I've made a lot of them before, but I haven't made one for an awful long time, so I thought it was about time I did a tutorial for you and actually showed you how it works. So it's not that difficult. The hardest part is this front part, and I'm going to go through that with you step by step. So first, let's have a look at what you will need. You will need 2 base cards. Now the first card that you will need will be 10 inches by 7 inches. Okay, and along the 10-inch side you will need to score, so that one's the 7 inches, and along that 10-inch side you will then need to score at the 5-inch mark. That will give you base card number 1. Now for base card number 2 you will need the same size card, so you'll need 10 inches by 7 inches, and along the 10-inch side you will then need to score at 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches. Then what I'd like you to do is to turn it up one of the ends and score from the top down to that very first score line at 5/8 of an inch, and also at 6 3/8 of an inch as well, and just down to that first score line, because what's actually going to happen is you're going to cut that piece out. Okay, so that's pretty much all the scoring that you need to do. You also need some other pieces. Now your base piece, and I've used the base as gold mirror card, so your base piece, and you'll see that I've already got this stuck up, but is going to be on the front of your card, and that is going to be 5.5 inches. Sorry, that's not 5.5 inches. That is going to be 5 3/4 of an inch by 6 3/4 of an inch. And then your pattern paper on top of that is then going to be 1/4 of an inch down from that. So that will be 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. Okay, now the way I've cut this is one of the papers from the poinsettia set from Antonio Makes, and he's just amazing. Some of his papers are just stunning, so I actually subscribe to him, and yeah, this is one of his, so I'm pretty happy with it. I download those and I print them off on my own printer. So what we need to do first before we do anything else is we need to get our base card, fold that in two, that will give us a 5x7 card. Now we need to make an aperture in here, so we've got to cut this aperture out. Okay, so what we now need to do is we need to make sure that all of our card, all of our layers are straight, and to do that I make sure that I actually do excuse me, I do tape them down. Now because these are printed on my printer, I don't tend to put the excuse me, I don't put the tape over the paper. Now once that is done, we will then use one of our nested dies. Okay, so I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. Now I will stick this on, but I'll only stick it on where it's white, because I don't want it lifting the colour. So I try and get that as central as I can from side to side. I want it up just a little bit to allow for my flowers to come in. So I'm going to pop that. I think I'll pop it just there. Now the reason we stick these together is that we then have all of these 3 layers are going to be cut together. Now it might take a couple of goes to do it, but I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine, and when I set my die cutting machine up, I'm not going to put the part that is not going to be cut, I'm just going to leave it hanging out. So I'm going to pop that there, and then I'm going to run it through. Okay, so when I pull this apart, you will find that the top layer's definitely okay. That can come off very gently. The gold layer has also come off, and don't throw those away because we're going to use them later. And so those two are okay, but the base one, it's nearly there but not quite. Okay, so what we now need to do is just we grab that, and you'll be able to feel where it's got to go, and then stick it down again and run it through again. Okay, so running it through the second time, you will find that it will actually be cut in the same spot. So there's our other one, and you'll see that with our border we can lay that on there, and we've got nice even borders, and yeah, it's going to look great. It's going to be like that. So let's take that off. And once again, be very careful if you're downloading your papers, because sometimes if you're putting the tape where the pattern is, it can actually take the print off. So you just need to be a little bit careful. So what I now need to do is I now need to stick those onto you'll see I used double-sided, not double-sided, but I just folded it over on that piece. And the reason was I didn't want to stick, I wanted it to stay firm, but I didn't want to stick it on the wrong spot. So I'm now going to stick these down. I will stick this down with glue, and I will stick that down with some tape. So I'll speed up while I do that. Okay, so there we go. We've now got that part done. The next part we need to do is we need to take our other base piece, and you'll see where you've got these score lines. What I need you to do is well, firstly, let's cut them. And if you can see the way it goes, basically it's got this is going to go this way, and then these are going to go, so that one is going to go in there, and then this one is going to go there, and that one's there. So that is what you're actually looking for. So that's the shape, that's the way you fold them. Now this is the one that's got the other score lines on, so it's a simple case of cutting up those score lines, and these can be a bit thicker, providing your space up there is not going to show through your aperture, and you'll see what I mean when I put it together. And then just cut that whole centerpiece out because we don't need it. Okay. Now what's going to happen, excuse me, is the card will go together very fast. What needs to happen is these two pieces here will then butt up into that score line in the center there. Okay, so as absolutely right in the score line and level with the top and the bottom. So basically it's going to go like that. So what you need to do is just pop some glue on. Oops. Just pop some glue on those two tabs there. And put it down, and do one at a time if you want, right to that score line, okay, right to the center of it, and making sure that it matches there and it matches there. Okay, next what you need to do is turn it around, and this is actually going, this piece here is actually going to stick to that. Okay, so that's going to stick to that. So you need to put glue on this part here. and then making sure once again that all of your edges line up like so, and you will then find that you can close your card, and that's what you've got so far. Okay, next we need to take these pieces and we need to do a little bit more die cutting. So what I need to do is I need to get the next die down in size from that one, which is not that, and I think that's one of the reasons I went wrong last time. I need to find that. Apologies for that, I lost some of my dies, so I think I've got it right now, and that's why this one has got such a big aperture there, and then these other ones are probably a little bit too small. So we'll do it right this time. I now have all my dies. They were not put away properly, which is never a good thing. So this is the particular die that we would have used to cut that out, and you can see that on my card here, just showing you, that is the die that we've used to cut those 3 pieces out there. So that can go back there. The next piece we need to cut out is going to be the next size down on those nests of dies. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of tape there and a bit of tape there. It doesn't have to be central because it's just got to be cut. The next one is going to be a gold piece, so that will be the next one down again. So I will pop my die on there, and the next one is 1 down again, and it's going to be, which is 1 down from there. So, and that is going to be, I'm going to try and center that because it's got a picture on it, and the remainder of this picture is here. I'm going to try and center that as much as I can. It doesn't really matter though. So once again, I'm only going to put it on the paper that does not have pattern on it. So I'll put some there and put some there just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to run that through the die cutting machine. Okay, so there is our top piece. There is our middle piece. And this is where I came unstuck last time, because I stick the dies to the paper. I threw a couple of the dies away and I had to go through the rubbish bin to get them. So that's, don't need that and don't need that. Okay. Don't need that either. That's a lovely frame, but I don't think that's going to fit around there. No. That can, I won't throw that away because I can possibly use that if I'm using that die. So that will go on top of the white piece just here. So that will go there, and that will go there, and our sentiment will go there. And then this will actually be put in there. And you'll see that there is nowhere near the size of the aperture that was on this one. So I'm actually quite pleased about that. So first things first, what I didn't do last time and what I do need to do this time is I now need to make sure that I put my sentiment on here before I stick it together, because it didn't work last time. So I'm just going to quickly do that. So there you go. I've now got the excuse me, the sentiment on there. As you can see, when I tried to do it afterwards, it just didn't work. So that one was a dismal failure. Now what we need to do is 2 things. We need to stick that onto there and then that onto there. Don't forget, you've got to stick that with tape, not with glue. And on the other pieces that we've got, and I don't think I've given you those sizes yet, but we are going to put gold there, there and there. Okay, so 3 pieces of those, and those will measure 2 and 2 1/4 by 6 3/4, so 3 of those, and then this one will measure 2 inches by 6.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these ones in here. Let me see how I want it to go. I think that one can go there, that one can go there, and then this one can go there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now, and you don't need to see me doing all of that. Okie doke, so they're all stuck down. This one didn't go very straight, but it's down, and I can't really change it now, so that's the issue that I have when I'm using tape as opposed to glue. I don't get that wiggle room. So okay, now what we need to do is we need to pop this one in that aperture just there. Now obviously we need to make it so that we don't put the glue on the whole side, we just put it, sorry, on the whole thing, we just put it on this side because you don't want glue in there. So where's my glue? There it is. So I'm just going to pop it, my glue, just down this bit here, and that is going to be plenty to be able to attach this piece on. So close it down and make sure it's nice and even and stick it down. Okay. Oops, I've got glue there. There we go. So there is our card. Next we now need to make some flowers. Very, very simple. All you do is grab your rounded tool and put your die cut flower onto a sponge of some kind, and then just go round and round on the petals to break just the memory of the card. Okay, and then you'll see that it takes on a little bit of shape. Press it down with the other end, and there you have the first lot of your flowers. I'm going to put another one over there. I'm probably going to leave it the same as this and just have one flower, I think, but I'll just go and do these for us and I'll be back. Right, so here's our flower just here. What I'm going to do is I'm thinking of putting just one single flower up there with a little bit of greenery, one down here, and not greenery, the leaves underneath. So I'll go ahead and attach those, and I'll come back in a moment. And there we have it. The only thing left to pop on would be the little embellishes here, and I'm just going to put a fairly big one in the center of my flower there, and a smaller one obviously in the smaller flower. And that is our card finished. Now you've got plenty of room to write in it. You can write in there, you can even stamp a sentiment in there if you want, or alternatively you can do it at the back. But I just love this card, and I can't believe that I haven't made it for so long. It is relatively straightforward to do once you've got your aperture cut out. The aperture does not need to be this particular shape. It can be square, it can be round, it can be whatever you want it to be. But I just happen to like this one. I love these papers. These papers are from Antonio Makes, and they're a downloadable one. I actually bought these ones. These aren't part of the VIP package, but they are just stunning. They've got reds and they've got blues, and they've got these beautiful cream ones, and I just fell in love with them when I saw them. Thank you for joining me today. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be notified when I put anything else up. If you decide to make this card, please take a picture and pop it onto our Facebook page at Aussie Cards and Crafts. and we would love to have you as a member there if you're not already a member, and we'd love to see what you've been up to. So from me to you, thank you for watching today, and until I see you next time, happy crafting. Thank you.